Welcome to Blue Jays Today Wine Unwind. It's Friday night. It's time to crack open the beverages with said alcohol in them. If, of course, you are legal drinking age and you do like to participate.
We don't condone that. No. Underage drinking. None of that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But we're here. It is time to do some Q&As. You guys have the questions. We are going to answer them. And we're also going to talk about a few things that we want to talk about, such as Matt Chapman getting absolutely robbed, literally at gunpoint, like, you know, full up, just like everything taken away from this man. That sucked. Also, Aaron Judge getting a little accolade for hitting 62 home runs and being probably the best player of this season. And some news surrounding maybe Matt Chapman and like an extension there. I don't know. A lot of stuff to talk about right here in this episode. Welcome in, everybody. Keaton, Joel, cameraman Nate. What is up, guys? I hope your Friday night is wonderful. And if you watch this later, then I hope that whatever time it is for you is also...
Hope you're just happy and having a good time,
yeah,
guys.
Exactly. Like,
That's right.
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, folks. All right, first things first. We're a little bit late to the party on this one. It was announced a few days ago earlier this week, all of the gold gloves. GG to shout out to Mr. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That is awesome. I love to see it. But not so GG, not so good news for Mr. Matt Chapman. He doesn't get it.
No.
It goes over to Ramon Urias. I hope that I'm saying that properly. I don't know.
Ramon, something like that. I don't know.
You guys comment
but here's
down
the
below.
thing. Whatever his name is, I barely recognize this name as someone who is, fundamentally sound defensively and really good out there. And honestly, I was kind of shocked. I mean, I didn't think... Remember we had a little podcast. I actually think it was a Wine on Wine. Where we talked about like whether Chapman was going to win a gold glove. And like he was having a good year, but not like impressive. And let's take a look at the numbers, shall we? He ended up finishing with an outs above average at like 73, so it's not bad.
No, yeah, and I remember just to reference that podcast that we did do when we were doing that, and we were talking about, I'm not sure if he's going to do it. That number was chilling somewhere in the 30 to 40 percentile mark. Like it was definitely a lot lower. So he picked up and elevated his game as the season went on. He was there all the time, and I think that the eyeball test, like I remember when we looked over that, we saw those outs above average, and it being 43 or whatever it was at the time, we're like, what the hell? Because you watch this dude play the game of baseball, and the announcers are already calling out on it. You have Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro talking about how amazing he is, and I think that even just to the casual baseball viewer, like, you look over at Matt Chapman, he is always making a play on the baseball and making it look easy, right?
Right. And well, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Matt Chapman should have been up there for Gold Glove. He was nominated, but Urias, he ends up winning it. Now, just looking at Baseball Savant, it's super easy for us to fall into these statistics. And like you made a video on this about Ross calling out the statistics, being like, look, I'm all for advanced stats, but like, how could you possibly give it to this man? Yeah, 90 outs above average. That's really good.
99, I think.
Is it 90?
Is it?
90.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It looks like 99. It's very red. But if you look over at like literally how many innings this man played, he played 84 games that he started, 98 games there total, 769 innings, whereas Matt Chapman right here had 1344. Now that doesn't make you a better defender, but what does is he played more innings, had a fielding percentage of 988, where Urias at third base had a fielding percentage of 969.
Yeah.
So if you're going back to the old stats, this is clear. It is obvious that Matt Chapman is a better defender, but the advanced stats say otherwise. What do you think about that?
It's really interesting to me because I was trying to think of, like playing devil's advocate here, right, folks? Like, I know that we all want to get our pitchforks and we want to get our torches and like really just like go after the MLB on this one and who votes here. But I was trying to play devil's advocate and find a reason for like, okay, well, why should, with those advanced statistics and, what happened there, why should he deserve to do it? And I was thinking, well, he played a few games at shortstop. Does that factor into it at all? But first off, he barely played there. There's only 8 games that he played at shortstop, so 40 innings of baseball, and his fielding percentage was not even good over there either. So it's not like it's not like we have to give him the third base one because he was just a great defender all over the field and he needs to be recognized, sort of thing.
Well,
this is basically just on his third base play, and it's clear to me that just on the field stats, it's not as good as Matt Chapman.
Well, like, obviously he played a lot of third base, but, I mean, you have a point when you're saying he played at other positions, not as much as third base for sure, but, you know, that's why there's a utility award this year.
Yeah,
that's
right.
why
True.
That's why DJ LeMahieu won the utility, because he's all over the place.
Right.
But I think, obviously, we're talking about DJ LeMahieu, he is way more versatile, and it's a little bit more even than this guy, but I straight up think Matt Chapman should have won this year. I was kind of, when I didn't look at the stats, like, oh, okay, well, I knew he didn't have his best year, and he didn't have his best year.
Yeah.
But I still think his worst years are better than this guy's year.
Absolutely. And I want to know too, and this is just something that I don't know if any of us are going to find out because we're not privy to this sort of math, but what is that?
What is that? Outs above average.
I love those words. You know, like when you put those words and you just marry them together like that, I'm like, oh, yes, totally. Like, really good there. Great work, Ramon Urias. Good outs above average. But what the fuck is that? What is the math there? To explain it, like, okay, so there's average. What is that? What is average?
The average MLB player.
Okay, so
the average
MLB player, so you get more outs than the average MLB player?
Yeah.
Does that mean, though, that more balls get hit to you?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't understand.
Like, is it based on, like, the only way I can think of it is if it's based on, like, your range. Like, that's the only thing I think of. If you are able to get to more balls and field them and get outs, rather than this guy where that's just a base hit, like, is that, now you created an out rather than that other guy not getting to the ball.
And I want to know, how do we do that math? You know, like, that's tough math.
So would you calculate where he starts to where he finishes in a play? Like, who tracks this?
That's the thing. Like, this seems like an extremely, like, advanced statistic that when you really dive into it, it's like, okay, God, boys, like, can somebody please explain to me, like, what is this and how we are factoring this right now?
And why are we all accepting it? Like,
and we're
there's
just
so many stats.
Outs above average. That's what we're gonna base everything on now.
Oh, like barrel percentage. Okay, like, what is a barrel? Like, I mean, I guarantee there's probably an explanation, like launch angle and this.
Yeah, but I remember in a live stream very recently, like, I was talking about that.
Yeah.
And I know, like you kind of, like, it's just a term that gets thrown around, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and people threw it around, like, when you were doing baseball, like, I kind of had a different, like, understanding of, like, what I thought it was just because it's a term that gets thrown around.
Yeah.
What is the math there? Like,
what's the
explain
math
to me,
for
like,
a barrel?
like, what miles per hour, where on the baseball bat,
what's
like
the launch angle?
Exactly. Like, what are all of these things that make his barrel percentage so good? And especially the outs above average, man. It's so convoluted and difficult to understand. You know what? Honestly, if I was smarter, I'd say that we should make videos on it. But I don't know if I can.
Well, you'd have to probably dive deep in the internet. Try to go on some Reddit page where someone knows the formula. Like, someone knows how to calculate.
How do we calculate this?
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
And I'm going to do that. How do you, and my question to everybody here is, like, how do you also factor in stuff like the shift or, like, he's starting here?
That's right,
like,
right.
It's just like, I don't understand, like it's outs above average, but, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's really tough, guys. Moral of the story here, though, is I think that we can all put in capital letters, just like the title here is, robbed. Matt Chapman got robbed from the Gold Glove there. He was definitely deserving of it, and my understanding of baseball, just looking at, like, the simple statistics, they all kind of point to Matt Chapman. Also, not even factoring the fact that Buddy over there at third base, okay, now here's the thing. He had more errors on the year. I don't know if those came from third base, though, because I know that he did also play some second base.
Well,
he also did play shortstop.
We could definitely find out.
Like was his errors like just at third base? Like where did he do that?
Let's see right here. Okay, so errors right here. Boom. He had 8 from third base.
At third base, and Chapman had 5. Chapman had 5.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
You know? So it's like
Chapman had 5 errors?
Yeah, that's like minuscule.
That's nothing.
That's minuscule.
Dude was a fucking rock over there.
Yeah, and also,
God.
Can we just take a quick minor brief here and just look up Nolan Arenado?
Yeah, like his baseball reference?
Yeah. Just take a look and look up Nolan Arenado.
Because we got to compare what a diamond looks like.
I'm pretty sure that Nolan Arenado had like double-digit errors this year.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty confident he had double. Now, granted, his outs above average is going to be 99%.
That's the thing, and that's why I'm thinking it's got to be range, because his range at third is quite immaculate.
And I will say, like, in this standpoint, like, we all know and we can see Nolan Arenado is incredible. He had 12. Hits well.
My God.
And he got a Gold Glove, and I would imagine he's probably going to be up for Platinum Glove as well, too.
What the hell?
You know,
so is that a shift in the MLB nowadays? Are we shifting towards advanced statistics and away from the old ones?
Right. I don't know, man. It definitely looks like it, just looking at this specific moment right here with Gold Glove.
Yeah.
It's just like, like we're looking at those advanced statistics, and these sabermetrics of sorts are telling us that this guy is the best. Now, to, Nolan Arenado's credit, I think that we can all tell with the eyeball that this guy is a special guy. We can just see with our eyeballs, too. So, that really helps. And one thing that I will also say, doing this right here, I mean, we're looking at the stats on the page. Ramon Urias, maybe if I watched every single Baltimore game, that's something that I didn't do, So I don't want to, go and bash Raymond Urias. This is definitely not, a bash Raymond Urias thing. This is more of, well, why did he win? Somebody explain it to me. Because maybe the eyeball test with him was, so superb that it's we just need to, and we didn't watch every single Baltimore game. So, but just looking at those stats, absolutely.
Matt Chapman, and he's amazing. And, Matt Chapman, I still trust Matt Chapman any day of any week to put him over there in third base, and the bat got better. Everything got better with Matt Chapman over the year, which brings up the question, do we extend Matt Chapman after this next year? Because he's got 1 year left.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that Matt Chapman gets extended? And they're talking about it on an article right here. I'm going to bring it up for you folks.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. This is something that people have been asking about. This was a little mailbag sent into the Toronto Star. At Peter Rosenthal right here. He says, how likely do you envision a possible Matt Chapman extension? Now, this guy, I'm not really familiar with who this analyst is. He says not likely at all. Chapman is 1 year away from free agency. And we do need to factor in he has Scott Boras as a agent. We know how he is Mr. Moneybag. Dude, Scott Boras is crazy, man. I was looking back at his stuff. He's been around for decades. Decades. This is totally off topic right here, but he's been around for decades getting people incredible deals. Anyways, Matt Chapman, 1 year away. He did not win a Gold Glove this season, but I think everybody knows the value that he provides on the field.
100%.
And also, with the bat as well, above average bat there, with ceiling of being, really, really, really good, you know? So he's definitely going to get paid. That's this guy's opinion. What is your opinion?
Well, he's going to get paid for sure. I think he should absolutely get paid by somebody, but it's not going to be the Toronto Blue Jays, because just like he says here, I completely agree. Guerrero and Bichette will be 2 years away from free agency. And look, we have people in our system too, like Orelvis Martinez.
Right.
Jordan Grosh is gone now, but it's kind of looking like Orelvis Martinez is kind of a lock. He's a shoe-in to come up and fill in that third base spot or shortstop spot. And, he's the man. He's playing there now. Or Gabriel Moreno gets transferred.
I was just about to bring that up, right? I was just about to bring that up, that if we were going to make a transition from catcher to another position, this feels like
good.
one. Third base, right?
You got to have the arm.
Exactly.
You got to have the
arm.
You
need to have the arm. You also need to be a lock, like we've seen before, in our middle infield right now, just how bad it can be when you don't have a rock over there. And third base, so many balls get hit over there, and so many plays need to be made.
Yeah.
Yes, you're an incredible catcher. You're great in that regard. But if you're just an incredible baseball player, can you not take some of those skills and transfer them over to third base? I think probably.
Totally. And then, we all forget, too, that Espinal at one point was a third baseman. So if, Bo wants to go to second and maybe Orelvis Martinez goes to shortstop, because the broke on him is he's a really good shortstop.
Yeah.
Or not a top tier, but good enough, better than Bo. So if whatever way you put it, I think that will be solved. So it's an easy transition to not put so much money in Matt Chapman. Save it for the guys like Guerrero and Bichette who are going to extend, who are going to make your franchise even longer. Literally, I saw a tweet, it's kind of getting off topic, but Guerrero's won so many accolades. He's won so many awards. He's broken so many franchise records. And he's 23 years old. Yeah. It's actually quite incredible what he's doing. And we forget and we put Guerrero on this high pedestal and we're he needs to be better. He needs to do better. But he's 23. Yeah. And he's already done so much more than anyone's ever seen in this franchise. You got to pay this guy.
Totally.
Right?
Totally,
so pay him, not Chapman.
That would take money away from Matt Chapman and an extension there. So then my question is, because it's kind of I think it's a little bit scary, right? Because Matt Chapman here, we have him for one more season, and then he's gone, which then kind of brings up the question of, well, do you consider trading him? And maybe if the season's not going the way that you want it, do you consider shipping off Matt Chapman this year? Is that a conversation that needs to be had? And then also, two, how comfortable are you having him walk away and then having what would be basically two rookies fill in that role, at third base, like a very critical spot right there. Like these guys, we don't know how they're going to translate to the major leagues. Like, are we comfortable with that? Are we okay with that?
Well, I can definitely help answer two of those questions. The first one, sorry, what was your first question?
First question was, is there any reality, because Matt Chapman's on a 1-year deal
right
here, and
we're going to trade him.
We don't want to extend him. We don't think that we're going to extend him. Is there any possibility where he could get traded?
Yeah, no. Unless we're literally, sucking ass. We'd literally have to be, 15 games under. 10 games under by the trade deadline. That would be the only way. You're going to ride his contract out. That's why you brought him over here. You didn't bring him over here to get traded for assets.
Right.
You brought him over here to give you stellar third base defense and to help you go to the playoffs. That's our goal. We have to be so far removed from making playoffs, then we would consider trading him. We trade T.O., we trade Lord. That's what we'd have to do. Yeah. And then the whole thing of, are you comfortable putting in these rookies over at third base? Well, 2 years ago, we were comfortable putting in Bichette and Guerrero over at first and short and run the team. Granted, we didn't have much expectations then.
There, yeah.
However, look at Houston Astros. You put a rookie at shortstop. You didn't go out and sign someone. This is what franchise do, big franchise winning teams do, or at least that we're trying to be. They have to trust their development system, trust their scouts, and that bring these guys up and play at a major league level. So I say we got to trust it. Lower the payload. I'm thinking of an Overwatch. Lower the payroll and trust them to do their job.
I think that also too, now that we're really talking about this Matt Chapman and potentially leaving, and just it kind of gets hit with a truck of reality here, being Lord's gone, T.O.'s gone, Chapman's gone. These are 3 veteran players that have seen postseason action before. Granted, some of them not for a very, very long time, but are good, and you can trust them and you can fit them. That's literally our 4-5-6 in the lineup. That's our 4-5-6.
Yeah, so 4-5-6.
That is definitely a very scary thought, to think that, oh my gosh, all of them are going to go, and then we're going to have, a rookie at third base. We're going to have, God only knows what's going to transpire at outfield, right? I think that Gabriel Moreno, if we're not going to trade him, which, I'm cool with, he needs to start getting reps at third base right now. We need to start making that happen now, today.
I would be starting that program with him in the offseason.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely. You got to be ready for anything. Literally, look, as a management, I could trade you. I could not trade you. I got to be ready for plan A, plan B, whatever that is. But, look, Matt Chapman, possible extension to finish it up. Look, honestly, I would be shocked. I would actually be shocked. If we extended him beyond next year, I'm going to have question marks around this management. And I'd be confused.
Dependent on the deal, too.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be confused, honestly, of what you're trying to do. Because it's been very clear what management's been doing this entire time.
Right.
Every move that's happened, we've predicted it because we see what they're doing. This is something they would not do. It's not in the book.
Yeah. No, I think I do tend to agree with you there. We would need to be big into the tank to have somebody like Matt Chapman go and get traded. But that also does mean that if we're going to ride this contract out and he's going to go away, we need to make sure that position is shored up, because again, folks, this is a really freaking scary time for this Blue Jays, and this next season is going to really, I think, tell a lot of people about what this team's going to look like for the next decade, because we have the potential to, be oh, Peter, if we suck next year, I could see the management and the people who spend the big dollars and everything like that being I don't believe in this squad.
Yeah,
and you know what? What am I to say otherwise, right? And then Lord's not coming back, Tio's not coming back, Chapman's not coming back, and you might start getting the conversation of, well, does Vladdy need to get traded? Does Bo need to get traded? And I don't want to get there.
Yeah, that would definitely start to appear on the horizon of conversations. But even if that did happen, I'm just saying this right now in the past, I don't even think we trade Guerrero or Bichette. You have to then retool. There's no way you're getting rid of the whole ship right now. You've built it. It's here. We have to just trust the players now that we have. That's it. That's all we have. These are the guys we built our team around. These are the guys we brought in around the team that we brought up.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it, guys.
Do you think that there's a reality now that we're thinking about this right now? And I want you guys to comment down below and answer this question as well. Matt Chapman, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Teoscar Hernandez, all on a 1-year deal. Do you think that there is a reality where we don't get any of them back?
Yeah. I think so.
That could happen.
I think for sure.
That could happen. Holy shit.
I think for sure.
Holy crap, guys.
I do think they're going to offer. They're going to make offer.
Right.
I think they'll make a preseason or midseason offer to one of them. Maybe one of them.
So before 2023 season begins.
Before or midseason.
Right.
I could see a reality where we are already planning ahead. Okay. Because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money coming off the books. So you're not going to not spend the money. You've already been spending it, so you got to spend the money on somebody. Are you going to spend it on guys coming in from the outside of our organization? Maybe. But I think you'd much rather have a proven guy on this clubhouse that wants to stay here. Like I think out of all three, I think Teoscar Hernandez has the best shot
of getting a contract or getting anything.
Some sort of 4-year, kind of like Ozuna, but maybe a bit more kind of contract.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what Teoscar Hernandez thinks his value is, because he could be one of those guys where, if he's trying to push the payday to $100 million, I just don't see that happening for these Toronto Blue Jays. That's just going to be too much money, and in that regard, I think that we need to look at Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and be like, hey, you're our man. We're gonna keep you here for sure.
I think one of them's definitely gonna stay.
Well, you can't. You can't possibly get rid of both of our outfielders.
What would our lineup be? It'd be George, for 2024. For 2024, it'd be literally George, Bo, Vlad, Kirk.
I don't know.
Yeah, Moreno, rookie, Jackie Zimmer. We can't be doing this.
That can't happen. Biggio is Biggio. God only. God help us. Literally, God help us.
Yeah, you need to keep someone. Yeah. And for me, I think Teoscar Hernandez has been the most valuable player out of all of them in the last time. I don't even know how long he's been with us for a long time. He's been
with us for a minute. For the last 3 seasons, he's been very good.
Out of those three, one of the most valuable. You could argue Matt Chapman, short sample size, but I do think Teoscar's been the most valuable.
Yeah. Teoscar with the baseball bat is definitely a stud. But because of that, I have heard some people talking about this, thinking that his price tag is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's just can we really pay? Can we put $100 million into another outfielder that's going to be, getting up there in age and what? I don't know about that. Probably not.
I don't know if it's inflation or shit, or it's just the way that the market's going. But I feel like players are getting so expensive nowadays, man.
100%.
It's just they're so $100 million for a quality player.
Yeah,
is pretty standard. It's insane.
Yeah, and to Teoscar Hernandez's credit, right? He won 2 Silver Sluggers in a row. I mean, this past season definitely wasn't his best work, but he was dealing with an injury, and he started to pick it up at the end there. And I think, not his best work. We're chilling somewhere in the 760, 770 OPS. Still a good baseball player to have in your lineup.
Yeah.
If he were to bounce back and this season toss up another, Silver Slugger 850, 860 OPS, then it's $100 million.
Dude, it's an easy 5-year, $100 million. Here
exactly, right? Because that would be 4 years in a row of we want you on our team. You're definitely going to be in the lineup the whole time. I'm going to plug you into the 4-5 spot, and I'm not going to think twice about it.
I'm not going to think about you. That's the thing. That's what I love about Teoscar Hernandez. He provides such length. And quick shout-out right here to Raul with the $5 donation.
Jays need a major signing like Verlander to push us into contention instead of spending money on guys like Kikuchi, other middle-tier guys. What? I do tend to agree with you on that one, Rahul, and I'll pivot right here. I was reading a Jays Journal article today, folks, and it definitely did enter into Fantasyland. And they claimed that they were in Fantasyland, but they were basically looking at my ideal rotation for the 2023 Toronto Blue Jays. Can you guess what that rotation would be? My ideal, and we're in fantasy land. And we're in fantasy land to an extent. It's not, it's not incredibly crazy.
I'm assuming, just if I'm trying to guess it right, Verlander's in there.
He's not.
Okay, well, DeGrom?
DeGrom is in there.
It's either one of them.
Yeah, DeGrom is in there.
DeGrom, Rodon.
Yeah.
There's more? So let's go through the actual rotation.
Yeah.
Manoah, Barrios, Gosman, DeGrom.
Yeah, you're missing one more.
Ideally, I don't know. What are they going to put in? Nate Pearson or something?
It's so the last one there would be a re-sign of Ross Stripling.
Oh,
the last one there would be a re-sign.
That would definitely be ideal.
And when you do think about that, right? It's you got Jacob DeGrom, who's incredible. You have Alek Manoah, who's our 2 now. You got Kevin Gosman 3.
Oh my God.
You got Barrios, who has incredible upside 4, and you have Ross Stripling, who's 5.
Who's literally was our 3rd best pitcher, arguably 2nd best pitcher.
Who was absolutely star-worthy, right? So, yeah, if we did have that, then I think that you could argue literally that the strength of this team switches from offense to now it's starting pitching, right? Because
definitely.
That's godly,
which is
right?
incredible because our offense has been top tier, top 3 best in baseball
for the last
2 years.
2-3 years, right? So definitely, but he did claim that this is all fantasy land. And this is probably not going to happen. Now, to that point, Is this probably going to happen? Probably not.
No.
Jacob deGrom is going to get millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and you're talking about inflation. You're talking about people getting paid like crazy. Like, this is a player who
could get 50 a year.
I mean, he's probably going to break the average annual value record. He's
100%.
probably going to break the average annual value record with his age, with how good he's been.
Dude, okay, so I went in my head there, and I was like thinking, like, how do we get deGrom? What would have to happen? Oh, we have to know that Rogers is going to spend more money. The moment I see a rumor of Rogers willing to give a lot of money this offseason to more players is the moment my whole opinion changes on this team.
Yes.
Now I actually am like, okay, we're going to be like top 3 or 4 contender for DeGrom.
Totally.
But I just don't see them doing that. Yet they surprised me in the last 2 seasons, so I'm down for it, man.
Well, and that is really what it comes down to. I think the biggest question this offseason is, what is the limit? What is the line? Like, where?
Because we're getting to the luxury
exactly.
tax.
Like, we are now at the quote unquote like kind of imaginary line of like, you know, the salary cap. You know, it's not really salary cap, but that is, you know, their little one that they have there. Are we going to push it? Are we going to go over it? How much are we going to go over it by? The how confident are we? What do we think of this window? Like, do you sign a Jacob deGrom to a 3-year deal and basically tell the boys here, it's like, this is it. We're not honestly, like, if I was Rogers, I'd be like, okay, we're gonna sign deGrom to a 3-year deal. This is the window now. After those 3 years are over, you're not getting paid. We're gonna go into rebuild mode. Unless we've won multiple World Series. You know? It's like,
exactly.
Because and I'd be like, if I was a player, I'd be like, all right, you know what? Fair enough. You're giving us a chance. You're doing what you gotta do. Like, I understand.
We would have that rotation would be Manoah, Gausman, deGrom, and Barrios.
And then, you know, like, who gives a fucking shit who the last one is, right? It's like, who gives a crap?
Thank you,
Raul once again there.
Oh my god.
He's saying JV. Okay, so this is his ideal rotation right here. He's going Justin Verlander. So I guess you pay Justin Verlander.
Yeah, I totally see that
amount of money. You trade for Sandy Alcantara.
Oh my god.
You have Manoah, who's now your 3. You got Gausman as 4, and then you have Barrios 5. And
that's messed up.
Like, once again, I don't even know. Like, is that one better than the one that we just said? Probably, because
I'd say probably
because you got Sandy in there, and Sandy's just like a special player.
Wow.
We're never gonna trade for Sandy Alcantara.
No, I don't think Marlins would ever trade.
No. Sandy Alcantara is just one of those players right now where his contract is way too sexy for the level of production that he puts up on a weekly basis. It's just way too good to be trading away a guy like that. If we're gonna be taking anyone off those Miami Marlins, it needs to be Pablo Lopez.
It has to be.
I want those rumors to happen.
Well, I mean, I think Pablo's got like 3 more years or so left on his deal.
It's 2 or 3.
I can't remember right now
exactly, but it is 2 or 3 years. Now he is going to be in the arbitration stages of things, and based on how he's been doing, you know, it's starting to get pricey, but still, right? You're happy to pay him that money for the level of production that he puts up. That's a player, and we've said it before on this podcast, if we're going to trade a Gabriel Moreno, that's a player that I'm 100% totally on board with. Like, you can trade him away, and I'm cool with it.
Yo, okay, so I was just going to ask you, so if we get these ideal rotations,
right?
Obviously that pushes us over the edge. What I just realized right now, I just wanted to bring it up just for food for thought, our bullpen might actually get better even if we don't make any additions to it. Because I'm thinking about the Houston Astros rotation, and they can go deep, they can go long, they can give you innings. And I was listening to the broadcast the other day, and what they were saying is this bullpen has been rested all season long.
Right.
They only utilize their best guys, and they can rest guys when they blow people out with their offense and shut them down with their pitching. That's their advantage. It's not that they have great guys. It's not that they have a boatload of great guys. It's just that their guys are so rested and ready to go every single day. Well, so it makes their bullpen better.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think that it's that ideal situation, right? Like, when you're rolling, and it gets easier, you know? It's just like, you need money to make money, and it's kind of like, they have such a great offense, so they put up a lot of runs. They have such great pitching, so they hold them down, right? And it makes everyone, it's like a cyclical thing where it's like, okay, well, we put up a lot of runs, so our pitchers are chill now. They can just pump it down the middle, and they can go for forever.
It's consistent.
It's exactly
consistency.
Right. So everything is a working unit, and that's why they're 1 game away from winning the World Series and taking home the trophy.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is definitely kind of ridiculous. Also, a big shout out to Rahul once again. What if the Jays offered Bo, Gurriel, Martinez for Sandy? I still think that they decline it, dude. I'm going to be completely honest.
That's a lot.
I just don't see a reality where you trade away a Sandy Alcantara.
Even for Bo, Martinez, and Gurriel, that's a lot.
Like, I hear what you're saying. That is definitely a lot. That is a lot. I guess that would definitely enter into the realm of consideration. But I think that you need to put yourself and just like play this like a fantasy owner for a second. Play this like that's, I don't even know, like that's your. Like, who's your favorite guy right now? Like Breece Hall or something like that?
Oh,
like,
he's injured now. I love Nick Chubb. Jalen Waddle.
Right. It's like
Jalen Waddle.
It's the guy that you've attached yourself to, and when you imagine your team winning, you see that guy there doing it. It's
actually it's Jalen Waddle for me. I can't. There's no way I could trade Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, like it would take an obscene offer to even penetrate the rock of brain that you consider it. I just don't see them ever trading him away, man. I just think that contract is way too good. And I mean, yes, that would be a haul. And I think from a Blue Jays standpoint, we're like, oh my God, because we're attached to those guys.
Yeah.
We're not attached to Sandy. They are. I don't think that they get rid of him.
Wow, that's fucked. That's fucked, guys.
I was gonna say something, and now I completely. Oh yes. Okay, everybody. Do you want to hear, in the spirit of Halloween? Halloween just transpired. Do you guys want to hear a very scary thing? A very scary thing.
What's scary?
And this moves us back to our starting pitching rotation conversation. This actually scared the hell out of me.
What?
This scared the hell out of me. Jose Barrios had a horrible season.
Yes.
He had a horrible season, right? But his on games that he started and games that he didn't, I believe in games that he started, he didn't win all of them necessarily, but we won 23 out of the games that he started, and we lost 8. and let me tell you why. Now, I know that everyone's thinking, oh, that's great. But it's actually not. And it's really, really scary.
Why?
Because that's an anomaly. That's a complete and utter anomaly. For him to do that again, to have us win 23 games and to lose 8, you need to play way better. Because if you were to play at the level that you played at, with the 5.5 ERA that you were, if we were to do that again, we were to simulate this season again, do you think that we win 23 out of those games? No, we don't.
But also think about Kevin Gausman. We lost a lot of his games. I think he was about a 500 pitcher when he was on the mound. So it goes both ways.
True,
right?
True, that's true, yeah. So I guess maybe if you take some of that math away from Barrios and you plug that into Kevin Gausman, it's possible. I saw that stat and I was like, shit. So basically, if Barrios wants to be like, because I think a lot of us were kind of thinking to ourselves, well, Barrios can just bounce back and be really good.
But he's still won games that
exactly. Exactly. That's what I mean. It's like, if Barrios can just bounce back and be really good, then we'll win a lot more games.
Maybe if Barrios bounces back, he's perfect and he wins every game.
It's the thing, right? It's like, but if Barrios just bounces back and is really good, we might just be in the exact same spot that we were before.
He had a 12-7 record with a -5.
It's like it doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense at all, right? And then you look at Kevin Gausman and 12-10,
basically
with
500.
A really good WAR, with a really good ERA, with a really good everything.
Who got losses? Kikuchi, I guess.
Kikuchi got a crap load of losses. Kikuchi definitely got a crap load. Only 7.
See, 500.
Wow, how is that possible?
What? Obviously, those games that were like the bullpen, changed everything, but incredible.
But either way, the point of this being, what is scary about this is Jose Barrios is going to need to bounce back and be really good, and he might not even put up those same win-loss numbers again. So it's like, even if he were to pitch to a 3.5 ERA, it's not like we're gonna magically jump up to 100 wins here, folks. It's like we're gonna need other contributors.
I really do think, in order to jump up to 100 wins, we need a Verlander or DeGrom.
I agree.
That's the only way.
I think that we need an outside source.
Yeah.
And it could come internally. It could come internally. Like, imagine Mitch White decides that Mitch White's incredible.
Yeah.
Imagine if, and I mean, it's not going to happen, but like, just if Yusei Kikuchi could actually command his pitches.
Right.
And be the guy that I think a lot of people are like, well, you have the stuff.
Yeah.
You could be a 3.5 ERA guy. Can you actually do that? If you could, then yes, maybe 100 wins for us. It's not going to happen. It won't.
Right. And you're right. I mean, like, things always happen. Like, where'd Stripling come from this year?
Totally.
Right? But then also injuries happen.
But then other things will happen too, right? It's like, cause,
that's why we need more. We need more additions.
It's like, we need more. Let's face it, right? It's like, maybe next year we walk into the season, like, Barrios bounces back. But Manoah has a down year, you know. It's like, or Gausman has a down year, and you know, it's always gonna be that way. It's gonna be these ebbs and these flows. To be like the Houston Astros, to be like the LA Dodgers, you need every single element of your team to be popping up, and then you also need, because you're gonna deal with injuries, it's going to happen. You also need to have the other guys who are going to step in be really good as well.
You need a deep system. And that's why for years now, you've seen the Houston Astros trade away all their guys, all their prospects. They don't need them. They're just deep. They're loaded. They still have more. LA, we have been feeding off of LA's system of guys that have not come up. Ross Stripling, Mitch White are prime examples. And then we've been taking other guys over from Houston for years. Teoscar Hernandez and one Derek Fisher.
Right.
Ken Giles is a prime example. These are guys that they just don't even need.
Yeah.
And we grab them.
Yeah.
So we need that, because I'll be honest, if we lose, and we got very lucky this year that we did not lose Vlad, and we didn't lose Bo, even though a lot of people hate Bo.
Right. Yeah, okay.
But if we lost those guys, our team does not look the same.
Dude,
it is not the same.
I mean, and if we were to lose Manoah, it's
game
it does
over. Not look this. It's over.
It's literally game
over. It's
over, right?
So there's no one who could step up to even that remarkable. No. Not even. No one can give a 2.5 ERA. Exactly. Or no one can give even a 3 ERA after Manoah.
No, absolutely not, right? And you see. And maybe this is to the credit of the Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, it's not like they won a whole lot of games either. But, I mean, they were able to weather the storm when Bryce Harper was down for almost 2 months of baseball.
Yeah.
They were able to weather that storm and play through all of that, right? And you see other teams do that, like the Atlanta Braves last year when Acuna went down. We all counted them out. It's like they were able to weather that storm and play through. And it was like other guys stepped up and did it. And, yes, their management had the back of the team. They brought in a bunch of dudes. They were like, we're going to just try our best to give you guys the best possible chance to win.
Yeah.
And it obviously worked out. We need to have that with these Blue Jays. Like, the guys that we paid money to, like Yusei Kikuchi, as much as we hate him, and I have a love relationship that he's a meme, we actually need him to be better.
We need him. Well,
we need him to be better.
Kikuchi was better than Barrios last year, says Shivas.
Which is nothing.
He was.
That's not an accomplishment, though. Like Barrios sucks.
That just shows how bad Barrios is.
It's so bad, you know? And I was literally so in Barrios' camp
we all
in
were.
The preseason.
I'm still in his camp now to bounce back.
Yeah.
I'm there
and it's
still.
I'm just lying to myself, you know what I mean? But it's like, I remember last year in the off season, preseason, after we extended him, I remember walking in, before the season began, being like, I think Jose Barrios, he's got a real, I was like,
he got a real breakout.
He's got a real shot to really break onto the scene. I was talking like high 2 ERA, like Robbie Ray, Cy. I was he's got a real shot at
that's
being
what
that
his
guy.
career was going. It was going do
and
fucking bam.
And I was like, okay, he's finally he's got his money. You know, he's at a ripe age, 27, 28. You know, it's like we got a good pitching coach, Pete Walker. This is when I thought Pete Walker was the stuff, the man. And no, it was just awful. It was just absolutely awful. I still don't understand what went wrong. I still don't get what went wrong.
I don't know, man. Well, fuck. I just love how we're talking about this season, and we haven't talked about it in a while, so it feels good to get all the anger out.
Yeah, 100%.
It's been a while.
100%, dude. 100%. There's a lot of thoughts and a lot of considerations to be happened. Judy Hittel wondered, did the two of you play baseball? Not at a professional level, and not very well either.
No,
so,
I
as you
used
can
to
tell,
play,
our opinions are very validated, and you should take this with 100% certainty.
I used to play competitive ball growing up, so that's all. That's it.
Exactly, yeah. So trust us.
Yeah.
You want to take a question from the box?
Yeah, let's do that. Also, guys, this is the Q&A Wine on Wine, so that was one question there from Judy. If you guys have any questions, let us know in the chat, and we'll answer and talk about it. So just throw that in the chat, guys.
Okay, I guess this one's actually outdated now, so we can't ask this, but I answered this, or asked this question.
Oh.
Does John Schneider have a shot at becoming the full-time manager next year? Well, I think we
know that answer.
We know what's happening there. The answer is yes. John Schneider did get his extension. GG, John Schneider. I'm really hoping that this turns out for the better, man.
All right. This one comes in from a fan. Shout out Mark Jones 121. They say, should the Blue Jays trade for Andrew Chafin? This was probably mid-season. So let me change that, because Chafin is a free agent this offseason.
Dude.
Should we sign him?
Andrew Chafin. Can we actually pull up MLB Trader? Did you see this? Did you see what happened here? He is declining his player option. He is declining his player option. Andrew Chafin is available, everybody.
Yep.
He is going to be there. Guys, off-season last year.
This was the man to get.
This was the guy. We were screaming at the top of our lungs as loud as we can into this freaking microphone here saying, hey, Blue Jays, get me some Andrew Chafin. They didn't do it. They didn't manage to make it happen. He went somewhere else. He has declined his player option with the Tigers. He was dominant last year once again, dude. And you look back at that career, just scroll down and take a look. So last offseason, he was coming off of a really solid year. Really good. 1.83. Wow. Not quite as good a year this year, but still.
It shows you the consistency.
Do I want that guy in my bullpen?
Yeah,
yes,
I would love this guy in the bullpen.
Yes, I freaking do. This guy would make up for the loss of David Phelps and some if we were to get an Andrew Chafin.
Oh my God, yes. Please. And he's how old?
He's
32.
32, yeah. So 32. He will be 33. All of his sabermetrics, really good.
He does throw 92, and I know a lot of people get turned off by that, but hey, it's great. I mean, I'm totally ignorant right now. What's his okay, he doesn't strike out a lot of people, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, at the end
quality innings.
At the end of the day, if you have the ERA to back it up consistently, yes, I would prefer you to have a 101 mile per hour fastball and be crazy with the strikeouts. But if you have the ERA to back it up consistently, I can't argue. And that's what Andrew Chafin does have. Can we just take a quick look at Andrew Chafin's contract to see what he did decline?
So we know how much he's looking for?
Yeah, exactly. So we know what sort of money this guy is going to be interested in. I think I took a look at it like a week or two ago, and it was somewhere in the range...
So he's probably going to look for double digits in the millions.
Yes, he will. And I'll be honest, I think he's worth it.
I absolutely do think he's worth it.
This is a guy for me who I am more than happy if the Blue Jays went out and paid $12 million a year for 2 years or something.
Maybe like a $12 million 1-year deal with a player option or club option or
player
something.
Club option, for the same amount for the next following season.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Andrew Chapin needs to be a guy that these Blue Jays go out and target, guys. We've been screaming it forever. The bullpen needs to be fixed. David Phelps, that's a big loss. That's going to be something that's underrated and not talked about a lot by the media.
Oh, he was consistent,
but
man.
He was consistent.
He had innings. Let's look at him.
He had innings. He was consistent. He's an old guy, so we're probably not going to get him back again. But Andrew Chafin would come in. Oh my God, they had the same ERA.
The same ERA, guys.
ERA. It's the same thing.
He had better WAR too. How many innings? He pitched a lot of innings.
63.2 innings there out of that.
That's a lot of innings. Dude, anytime I saw David Phelps, I felt calm because he is that veteran presence. He's consistent. He doesn't get blown up back to back to back. He a little run here. 3 weeks later, maybe a run here.
Yeah.
3 weeks. It's I can trust you. And you're not giving up hit after hit after hit. It's maybe a bloop, it's a blast, and I love him. That's why I want Chafin.
I was a big fan of David Phelps. I know I'm going to be a big fan of Andrew Chafin. He's absolutely the dude that you want to have. He's going to be in that mix now with the Jimmy Garcias and the Adam Simbers, for that setup, for that 7-8 role, setting up the Jordan Romano, and I am so absolutely down for it. Dude, and the whip is better. I'm all about this guy.
And all those guys you just mentioned right there, I kind of lump them all into the same category, all the same tier, right? But that's what just give me depth. We would have so much depth if you had someone like that. Now I'm getting to fantasy land. You had someone like Chafin, and you had someone like Edwin Diaz.
Oh God!
God. What do you do? Let's play fantasy here. If you added Edwin Diaz, is Romano still the closer?
I don't really think so. No, I don't. He
moves over. Eh?
I think that you have Romano close some games.
Maybe it's a committee.
Exactly. If it's a closing by committee role, I think that happens. But at the end of the day, Edwin Diaz is the man.
Yeah, he's really
and I gotta give the nod here to Edwin Diaz.
Yeah.
I like you a lot, Romano. I think that you're dominant, but I'd probably be walking into the season riding with Edwin Diaz. Maybe we switch. Maybe we ride the hot hand. If Diaz gets blown up one day, you get a few starts there. If you get blown up, Diaz comes back. I don't know.
But here's what's great about that situation is, let's say, if again, fantasy land, you have all these guys giving you depth, bringing you into the game, keeping you in games, and then you win whenever you're going for a close situation. You put in Diaz, you put in Romano, whatever. But then the other guy on a game where, our offense is here. We need to get some runs here. We need to stop down the big part of the order right now. It's coming up. throwing Romano, it's throwing Edwin Diaz. Like,
you
can.
You have that. You have that now. And that's something that the Jays do not have, is the capability and the depth to be able to throw in an elite in a situation. It's like, just imagine, guys, there's one out, there's a runner on first, there's a runner on third. It's, Barrios pitching right now. We're in the fifth inning. You know, the game's tied. It's 1-1 right now.
It's against the Yankees. It's for the division lead.
Exactly, right? It's like all of these things right here where it's like, we need to stop them immediately.
Yeah.
Like, we got to stop whatever rally's going on right here. This needs to stop. Kikuchi's command's going all over the place, or Burry's command going all over the place. Instead of bringing in, a Simber, who's still very, very good. I like Simber.
Yeah.
But you bring in now a Jordan Romano, and you just absolutely,
or
like,
Andrew
bam,
Chafin, or Anthony Bass. Like, you can afford to spend these guys that you're not willing to afford before when you have to save for the late innings or save for tomorrow's game. Well, okay, I still have 4 of these guys that are all rested. I can burn one of them now in this situation.
And also think too, like, this is obviously like a pretty short or like situation that doesn't happen too often. But when there's extra innings in a game, now you have an elite closer for 9, inning 9, and you can also have an elite closer for 10 too, right? Give your offense an opportunity to win the game for you, rather than have, okay, well, we got to have Romano for 9. And then, damn it, like, who do we have now?
Meza.
Like, is Meza ready to go? Like who's good? Like Merriweather? Like, I don't know, right? It's like, I don't want any of that garbage, right?
Merriweather.
I want to give our offense the best chance to win here. You throw in Edwin Diaz in the 10th, they don't put up anything. He keeps that runner at second, and then you have, Bo Bichette or Vladimir Guerrero Jr., smack a RBI single, walk it off, right?
I love it.
That's what we need. We need depth in this pen.
Yo, I got a question here from Larry who says, are the Jays in on a monster contract for Pete Walker? I'm not. Let him Walker. I love it. Well, I do think when it does come time for Pete's contract, I don't even know when the frig that is.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
But if it is, I feel like it's getting about time to let him go. Like, he has been with the organization for a decade plus, and it's almost like
I'm
time
happy.
to go.
I know that we're comfortable with Pete. We like Pete in that regard. I think he's been okay. I don't think that he's excelled, Yeah. And I think that a lot of people point to the accolades, being like, well, but that guy won Cy Young, or like, that guy came up and was awesome. And absolutely, but what about all of the other guys who were not good and were bad?
Exactly.
And you can point to the management not giving him the guys that he needs. I hear you. I get what you're saying with that. But at the end of the day, he has had a long enough tenure where we've seen the ebbs and the flows. Some guys work out, some guys don't. I'm looking over to Houston. All the guys work out. Pretty much none of them don't.
Dodgers
I'm
all work out.
Exactly. And yes, they spend a lot of money. Looking over at the Rays, all the guys seem to work out. So it's like he's obviously not at the top tier when it comes to pitching management or pitching coaches.
And our pitching, I've said this on the last podcast, to add to your point, Nick, it's like it's never been top tier. No. It's like we're hitting our like potential now.
We're mid.
Of like, we're maybe just above mid.
Yeah.
Like at best.
And you'd think that for a squad with a guy as talented as Alek Manoah, and then who's also invested so much money in, like, over $100 million into Barrios, over $100 million into Gausman, $36 million into Kikuchi, right? It's like, I know that Kikuchi's bad, but like, why is Kikuchi bad? Why wasn't he better? We thought that he was
pay
good.
him exactly.
Like, we just invested the money. Why was he so bad?
The whole conversation was like, oh, we know how to fix him. And guess who the fuck is saying that into Ross Atkins here? It's Pete Walker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I know exactly how to fix him. I'm making shit up. I don't know this for sure.
Yeah,
but you got to assume in those conversations. Yeah. Pete Walker has a better understanding of like what's wrong with a pitcher, how could he fix it? That's his job.
Yeah.
So you gotta imagine if Ross like, hey, if we go sign like you say, like, how do you feel about him?
I'm just thinking that for a squad that's invested, net total over $250, close to $300 million into their pitching rotation, why is it mid?
Yeah.
The Rays have invested.
Yeah. Basically 30. Nothing.
Maybe. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
Right. It's like a total contract, right? It's like nothing, right?
Yeah.
Why is our guys mid when we put that much money into it? Maybe it's Pete Walker. Maybe it's time to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Good question here coming from Jacob Hajin. Don't know if I'm saying that properly. I've never also seen you before in
Welcome.
this chat, so shout out to everybody who is new. Woolen season, love y'all. Thanks, dude.
Thank
shout
you.
out to Jacob. New guy here saying, do you think Cardinals will send someone to Toronto? I imagine that you probably watched
the video.
that video where I was talking about Gabriel Moreno, I was talking about Santiago Espinal, and I was talking about Tommy Edman and Dylan Carlson. I never actually got your opinion on that. That was an article that came out. What do you think about that?
I don't think that would happen. I mean, I that's too much of like assets for the Cardinals to be giving up for a catcher. Now, I understand the point being that they just lost Yadier and they're looking to replace it with a new young guy. I totally get that. And, you know, replacing Edman with Espinal, like, I get that.
Edman is a very quality guy.
Very quality. Very but it's like those two, I think that they have attachments to those two guys. They are building, their team is going through a little bit of a cycle as well. They're literally got, Pujols was with the team for a while, but Pujols retiring, Yadi's retiring. Wainwright will be back, so that's really cool. But they are starting to transition a little bit. I think they need those guys part of the transition.
I hear you with that, and I do think, like, Edman almost had 7 WAR last year. You know what I mean? Like, Edman almost, yes, exactly. Like Tommy Edman almost had 7 WAR, right? It's just like, it's one of those things where I love Moreno, and I think that all of us are like so attached to Moreno. It's like we love him, but like Edman did it at a major league level very well last year.
And Carlson, as he didn't do as well last year, but we saw the potential.
There's potential there. There's potential. And I also think, too, from a Blue Jays standpoint, that's a big bullet. That's 2 really nice bullets there to be firing for not pitching. You know,
exactly.
It's like if we, and maybe this is just my personal preference, my personal bias, if we are going to make a trade with those St. Louis Cardinals, because it's possible, right? It's like, I'm sure that they're going to call on the phone. They're going to say, hey, Toronto, it's like, you got 3 really nice catchers there. Can we have one? They're going to do it. I know that they're going to do it. If we're going to make something happen with St. Louis Cardinals, it is definitely possible. I think that we need to be in the conversation for their pitching, their bullpen.
Pitching.
And it's got to be,
Actually, I did get a DM from, I don't have it right here on my phone, but I could find it. But just for the point, I'm going to say, someone on my phone DM'd me saying, hey, what if we traded Moreno over to Cleveland with a package for Gurriel, because they've been in on Gurriel for a while now.
They've been on him for a minute.
So what if we go and try to get one of their young starters, some of their good bullpen guys, in exchange for those? And I was like, maybe. I mean, I think their offense is mid. It's good enough to like do the job.
They had a lot of breakouts last year.
Lot of breakouts. But if they like Gurriel, give him Gurriel. Give him a good quality catcher in Moreno. See what happens. Maybe they give you some pitching. What do you think about that?
It's possible. I mean, like, we need to go through all the guys and like really like plan it out, being like, all right, he's coming here, he's going there. This is the value. I could see it. Cleveland, I feel like they're sticky though with their pitching. Like they like it a lot.
That's their bread and butter.
Exactly. It's like it feels like they were a lot more willing to trade away their offensive players, because Frankie Lindor, they were always in on that. J-Ram, they seem to be like shopping him around for a long period of time. Whereas like it doesn't feel like they want to trade their pitching as much. So I don't know, and especially now having just come off of a really good season where they won their division, are they going to feel okay with trading away maybe somebody who is a contributor for a catcher who's never been in the major leagues before?
Right, exactly.
I know that we love Moreno. I know that he's got great potential, but like you just came off of winning your division. Do you want to give that team up for that?
Do you need Gurriel? You have 2 Gold Glovers in the outfield who just won. Quan, and I believe it was the ex-Astro. I believe it was Miles Straw. And I mean their outfield's good. Them two, like, you're fine. So I agree with you. I feel like it's a stretch. We're in fantasy land again. We're trying to make things work. I don't think it's realistic, though.
Jacob here saying, I heard possibly Contreras, and I imagine that you are a Cardinals fan talking about going after that. I think that would be so good.
That would be great.
We were on a collab podcast with Jimmy Volcap Sports. I don't know if I'm sure that most of you guys know him. He was saying that he doesn't think that the St. Louis Cardinals are the type of squad to give up a compensatory pick for Wilson Contreras, because obviously Contreras is going to be offered that qualifying offer. I think I disagree with that. Because I do really think that Contreras is a different type of player, right? You look at that St. Louis offense, and Goldschmidt is going to be gone really soon. He's going to be gone really soon. Arenado, he's in his prime right now. You want to capitalize on this. Go out, give up the pick, get a star. I think the only other catcher last year that you could say might have been better than Kirk. You know, it's like a really, really good catcher there. Get him. That lineup is stacked.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like we always talk about prospects and like, you know, do you want the maybe question mark or do you want the for sure thing? It's like, okay, well, let's just replace that second round pick, basically what it would be, for Wilson Contreras in prime. Like he's ready to go tomorrow. Yeah. Hell yeah. I'll take him.
And I really do think that it's like St. Louis Cardinals, they're in their window now. This is their window, right? So as much as you want to retool and you want to be planning for your future, and I think that's all very important, you guys had a crazy good season this year. You know, like I could have totally seen you, like obviously kind of upsetting the way the playoffs turned out, but we simulate this 1,000 times. You win the World Series a bunch of those. You know, like I could have seen you making that push and making that play just based on how incredible that offense is. You throw Contreras into that. You also or maybe make a trade for a starting pitcher. That's what I think the St. Louis Cardinals need to do. And you're like a World Series champ now.
Well, at least they'll be in contention. They always feel like they're like always just on the cusp of like going far, and year after year they just don't get there.
But just imagine if, again, you know, playing fantasy lane for another squad right here, they go out, they sign Contreras, so now their catching is legit. You know, they have an incredible. Like you got Tommy Edman, you got Goldschmidt and Contreras and Arenado, all these elites, right, in your lineup. And then you were to go make a trade for a starting pitcher or something.
Yeah, that's what they need. They need more pitching.
Exactly. We're always in the conversation for Pablo Lopez. What if they went out and went crazy?
That's the thing. It's like, look, I love their lineup. I love our lineup too. You know, I love big, heavy lineups. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm going to consider you World Series, you got to have more pitching. You know, and Wainwright's coming back. That's very good for them, you know. And they do have, what's the guy that they got from New York?
Montgomery.
Miles
Michaelis had a really nice
Michaelis had a nice year, but they don't have that like ace, that like superstar, like I'm DeGrom, I'm Verlander, I'm a Noah. Like they don't have that guy that's like dominant. Right. You know what I mean? A high flamethrower, like whatever it is. That would push them over the edge for me. They have a decent bullpen. They have a good bullpen. Not one of the greatest, but it's good enough to get the job done. But to push you over their level, just like the Blue Jays, I see a lot of similarities. Just like the Blue Jays, they need a little bit of push in the pitching.
Yeah, potentially so. So like fill in the catching role and like maybe go out and get a pitcher, and like you guys just said, I think. And they do still have Matts. So there you go.
Oh yeah, Matts.
Also, Cade is Chapman eligible for an extension? Dude, literally just cycle through this. Like if you go to like the 30-20 minute mark or something like that, we do literally talk about it. But I think that we are going to call it there, everybody. Thank you so much for watching along, taking part of this, asking some questions. I hope that our answers were fulfilling to y'all. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like and the subscribe button. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We really want to get there by the end of the year. We think it's possible. We just really want to have you guys join the team.
Guys, thank you so much for spending your Friday nights with us. Hope you guys have a good night. Love all y'all, and thank you so much for watching.
And
go Jays, go! Till next year. How many more months?